Have you ever wondered how one of the greatest civilizations in history managed to pop up in the middle of a desert? Well, that's what we're diving into today. This incredible paradox of how a magnificent culture grew out of one of the harshest environments on Earth.
So, right off the bat, here's the big question. You think of ancient Egypt, you picture these massive pyramids, powerful pharaohs, a huge empire. But look at a map, and it's all surrounded by this vast, empty desert. How on earth does that work? How is that even possible?
To really get Egypt, you first have to understand its geography, which is basically a story of two extremes sitting right next to each other. It's this wild contrast that defined everything. And this is exactly how the ancient Egyptians saw their world. On one side, you had what they called the Red Land, the endless, scorching desert, a place they saw as chaos and death. And then, literally right beside it, was the Black Land, this thin, lush ribbon of dark, rich soil that was just bursting with life. The difference was night and day, and it was all because of one single powerful force.
Yeah, you guessed it. That force was the Nile River. But listen, this was not just any river. The Nile had a kind of secret weapon, a totally unique combination of features that made civilization not just possible, but you could almost say inevitable.
The ancient Greeks had the perfect name for it, the gift of the Nile. And that's really what it was. It was like a complete life support system for an entire culture. And this system was built on two very powerful, very unusual features. The first one sounds almost, deceptively simple. Okay, so it flows north. Big deal, right? Well, actually, it was a huge deal. The Nile is one of the only major rivers in the world that does this, and here's why it mattered. The winds in Egypt just happened to blow south. So what you get is a natural superhighway. You could just float your boat downriver to go north, and then to get back, you just put up a sail and the wind pushes you all the way back south. This one simple fact made trade, communication, and uniting the whole kingdom possible.
But that incredible transportation system was only half the story. The Nile's second superpower was something the Egyptians could literally set their calendars by. It was an annual, predictable flood, a miracle that showed up like clockwork every single year. Now, think about it. For pretty much any other place, a giant flood is a catastrophe, right? It wipes out your crops, your home. But the Nile's flood was so gentle and so reliable that farmers didn't run from it. They celebrated it. It wasn't a disaster at all. It was more like a delivery service. So what exactly was it delivering? Every single year, after the floodwaters pulled back, they left behind this thick, amazing layer of rich black silt that had been carried all the way from the mountains of Ethiopia. This stuff was basically super fertilizer, packed with nutrients. It meant they never had to worry about their soil getting old and useless. The river took care of the fertilizing for them, completely free of charge. So, with this unbelievable foundation of perfect farming conditions, well, you have all the ingredients you need for a civilization to literally rise right up from the mud. You can see the chain of events so clearly. The predictable flood brings the silt. Because of that, you get this incredibly fertile land. And because of that, farmers start growing a massive surplus of food, way, way more than they need just to survive. And that surplus? That surplus is everything. It's what allows people to stop being farmers and start being soldiers, priests, scribes, and, pyramid builders. That extra food was the economic engine that built the first kingdoms. Just stop and think about that for a second. An entire civilization, one of the longest lasting and most powerful in human history, was built on the back of this one single extraordinary river system. It was one geographic engine driving thousands of years of history. So when we talk about the gift of the Nile, what are we really talking about? I mean, it was more than just water and mud. It was something way more profound. The true gift was really these three things. First, predictability. It let them plan their entire society, year after year. Second, incredible fertility, which created the food surplus that paid for everything. And third, it provided unity. That river highway wasn't just for moving goods, it allowed for a single, centralized government. See, unlike other places like Mesopotamia, which had all these warring city-states, Egypt's geography made it easier to be a single, unified kingdom under one pharaoh. And that stability? That might have been the greatest gift of all. It's just a powerful reminder of how much our environment, our geography, can shape our destiny. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought, right? If a single river could be the foundation for an entire ancient empire, what's the one geographic feature that's shaping our world today?